A lot of people want to say that Boss built his reputation and legacy on bismuth, and I think that that's quite the opposite. We built this business to deliver the highest quality product at the most economical and affordable price with the most lethality possible, and match those three and deliver it straight to the consumer. That promise hasn't changed. What has changed is the metal, but through a lot of engineering and exhaustive work by my team over the last year, we developed CuProX, which not only is every bit as good as bismuth was, it's better. It's tariff-free, it's made in America. We've been able to bridge the gap to get it to outperform bismuth. Once we figured out that there was true benefit in the surface texture with CuProX, that amplified the performance to give us roughly 7 to 10% more penetration, more energy, more retained velocity than mainline bismuth at the same velocity. With the first generation of copper, it was just as good as bismuth, but CuProX is better. All right, we'll step it off. 1.25 ounces, number 5 CuProX, 1350, 40 yards. All right, we'll count that up. We'll be able to see it better once we draw everything and get everything all squared up. And that was first shot with a brand new choke. Never been fired. All right, back to it with copper plated bismuth. I'm not gonna say it's bad. We made a business off of this stuff, but CuProX is gonna be right there. If not, now let's compare them side by side. Fewer flyers with that stuff. But we'll count it up. It's gonna be pretty damn close either way. Now, we'll shoot gel. 2 shots each into one end. We'll cut one of this off here. Very high-tech platform we have here. There we go. So I'll shoot from a knee on this. 2 shots of each. Here we go. Something we get with the CuProX pellets that you don't see with the copper when we were precision grinding it, or with bismuth with the slick layer of copper on the top of it, is this, like that tearing.
The trauma.
Yeah. More of this, and the pellets suck back. The only thing I can figure is it's the shape of the pellet, because it happens almost only with the CuProX pellet. The smooth pellet, like here's a copper plated bismuth, it makes the needle mark and that's it. But these CuProX ones end up having more of that tearing. And I can square that with reality because when Aaron Carter, our guy down in Mississippi, was hunting in Arkansas last year on specs, he was noticing the larger trauma channels when we were doing different variations of CuProX compared to the ground copper we were using at first. But anyway, it's only about 94 degrees and humid as hell, so let's go inside and cool off and take a look at this stuff. 218, so number 5, 12 gauge, 1/4, 1350, max choke, M1, out of a 218, out of 237, what do we have? 91.9% at 40, which is, 18% higher than what we used to get with bismuth. So now let's compare it to bismuth. This is 12 gauge, 1/4, number 5, bismuth, 1350, 40 yards, max choke, M1, Benelli M1, personal gun. I don't see any cracked pellets. If we do, we'll count them anyway. So you get 2 for 1. Yeah, there's one there. I don't miss that. That was the one thing that all the internet talkers used to do to take away from what we're trying to do. Oh, well, it cracks, and then it's too expensive. So you make it cheaper, and then they say it doesn't work. Happiness is a choice. And I firmly believe that it just must be miserable waking up every morning, going to play on the internet and cut down other people to make yourself either feel good or drag other people into your own problems. 197 is the number here, based on 237. 237. Tyler's got the math. That's 82 2.7%, 8%, 7.7. There you go. 83, call it, versus 92, 9% greater. You guys saw the whole thing start to finish. Same gun, same choke, same position. Nothing changed. Plus 10% for CuProX. We get an image side by side. Tighter center core, tighter pattern. Told you guys we're not lying. All right, now we got the gel block. You got it heated up. So one thing to notice is, I know there's gonna be some guys with concerns about the powder that we apply. All it is a marker for identification in the field in case you get checked and game wardens wanna give you a hard time. All you gotta do, it flies, it comes right off. So the minute that it ends up coming out your barrel, what little powder's on there probably gets burned up with all the heat and pressure. What makes it out is gonna fly right off because it's just nothing more than electrostatically applied powder coating. And if anyone knows anything about powder coating, it's barely hung on there unless it's baked on. We do that on purpose because we feel that leaving the powder on there in any cured state may cause problems with stepping on other people's toes with patents, but more importantly, the surface texture we have on the CuProX pellet has been highly engineered and tested to a point where it's optimized based on the surface finish of the pellets once they finish being manufactured. And we've tested this stuff for months and months, getting that proper surface finish. You may look at it and say, oh, it just looks like you got a dented up piece of copper, but there's way more to it than that. Trust me. I'm gonna read you CuProX, 3.73, 3.65, 3.66, 3.40, 3.50. Now the copperplate bismuth, 3.57, 3.20, 3.27, 3.41, 3.48. Okay, so let's add them up. Yeah, we're just measuring the average penetration. We took 5 pellets of each. I took the deepest 5 of each. We should see 7% in a perfect world more with CuProX than we do with bismuth. That's from my math from earlier this year. 6%. You've got the same velocity, you've got physics, and you've got math that makes a less dense pellet of the same weight because we've got the same pellet counts. So you've got a slightly larger pellet that should have higher drag but doesn't because the turbuflow finish on top of it, and we're getting 6% more ballistic gel penetration on top of over 10% increase in pattern density. Math is a universal language and you can't miscommunicate it. The numbers don't lie. Steve says liars can figure, but figures don't lie. There it is. And you guys have this whole thing start to finish. If we ever have to demonstrate it because someone calls bullshit, but they won't.